Hello and welcome to Davo DIY. You came on a good day. This is a great project. We've done this at the house already. We're doing it a second time here. I've even done this at work for a professional looking display. It is maximum impact for not a lot of effort. You can do this in a weekend. It looks great. People love it. And it uses our secret weapon. This is it. This is our hero, the laser level. The laser level is so accurate and it's so easy. I just love using it. I've got the perfect analogy for you too. At work, we have forms. And there's one of two ways to get them. Go into the main office where the filing cabinets are. Drop down to the second drawer, you know, the one that's got the box of Cheez-Its and the window scraper in the front of it that's pushing the hanging files back so far that you can't even leaf through them, but it's really no big deal. Because you can see the one you want. It's got the torn corner on it and the coffee stain.
So you open the folder up and there's your form, but it's got a yellow post-it note on it that says last one, make copies with 2 underlines and 7 exclamation points. So you go over to the copier and you want to make the copy. So you put it down, but you're looking at it and it's been copied so many times, it's so light and faded you can barely read it. And when you look at the bottom line on the form, you can probably figure out why, because it says Brenda 2004.
They are definitely naming a syndrome after me. Or save that form to your desktop, press print, and right next to you on your desk comes out a dark, perfectly aligned, brand new copy. Which way's easier? The laser level's just like that. You can go through the process with a bubble level and try to get it on the wall and draw the line and hope the level doesn't move. Or you can just flip the power on the laser level, hit one mark on the wall, and it works perfect every time. On with the show. This is Davo DIY. I'm Davo, and this is the Slat Wall Project. So, the supplies we need are slats. Slats are made out of this. This is MDF, so we got these at our local hardware store. The length we need floor to ceiling is 8 feet 3 inches, and unfortunately they have 8-footers and 10-footers. So this headboard is 79 inches wide. The MDF boards are 1x4s, so they're, of course, 3.5 inches wide. 3.5 times 23 is 80.5. So that gives us just a little bit of overlap on this headboard. So you can see on the diagram, 11 spaces, 12 boards, gives us 23 total spaces times 3.5, 80.5. Get the boards, get the paint for whatever color you're gonna do, and let's head to the room. So step one, get this stuff out of the way. Whoa, jeez. Excellent. The next thing we're gonna do is tape off the baseboard. Taping the baseboard is gonna do 2 things for us. One, obviously it's going to protect the baseboard from the paint. The other thing it's going to do is give us a spot to write on. Anytime you're doing anything measuring, whether it's a picture frame, whether it's measuring stuff out like this for where these boards are going to hit, don't write on your walls. Put a piece of tape down, just removable painter's tape, and put the marks on that. When you're done, peels right off, the marks are gone, no damage to the wall, nothing needs to be touched up. On the wall, the first mark we're going to make is what's dead center. So measure the distance wall to wall, divide it in half. For us, that number's 77, and we're going to put a mark in the middle. We're going to mark each of these individual spots for the boards, but the first thing we're going to do is mark the outside edges. Again, going from one side to the other, it's 80.5 inches, so each half of that is 40.25. So we're going to measure out from the center line, 40.25 to each end. That's going to give us the edges of where the boards are going to come to. The next mark I'm concerned with is a mark that's halfway in on that end board. We're going to put a mark for the line that's halfway in, so, you know, about 1 3/4 in. We're going to put a line that goes right through the center of the outside-most slat. Time for the laser level. Puts a line up the wall that's going to be going right through the center of that edge board. We just paint up to that. So the laser level goes floor to ceiling with this plumb line, and we just go from that. We paint up to it, move the laser level over to the other side, paint up to that edge. You got it. So we paint the whole wall. It's kind of hoping one coat would work. It didn't, so we're going to need 2 coats. Once it's painted, obviously the laser level isn't necessary to see these edges anymore. You can see where you painted. Just go over the top of it again. All right, time to make some slats. We're going to need to double check the measurement on the wall. Ours are 99 floor to ceiling. We're going from the ceiling down to the top of this baseboard. You're going to want to check at multiple points across the wall though. So we need to cut 12 slats to 99 inches. We're going to start by cleaning up one end of the board. Flip the board around, then we're going to measure 99 inches down on the board. Line up the saw at 99 inches, go ahead and make the cut. "12 boards, 99 inches, that's all we need. So we're painting in the storage room again. We span the space across the middle with a 2x4 secured at the top. On the left, we put a nail to bump up against so the 2x4 would hold. As we pan over here to the other end, the proper way to secure the right side would of course be a Tonka truck from the mid-70s. If you don't have this specialty tool, I suppose you could use a nail on the other end as well, but be advised you're not doing it properly. When we painted the wall white, you probably picked up on the fact that we're not doing a black slat wall like we did upstairs. This one's white. The boards, the MDF boards, are white as well, but we still want to paint them to get an exact match with the wall and get even coverage. So here's the center line that we marked off. This middle space is not a slat. Again, we're going slats here and here on opposite sides. So the center line is just going to be the center of a blank space in the middle. We put 1.75 on the center line here. The start of this square is one side, 3.5 right here. Every 3.5 inches, we want to continue to mark across. So we start at 3.5, 7, 10.5, 14. We don't want to continually move the ruler. If we did 3.5, move the ruler 3.5, move the ruler 3.5, we could get a little bit of variance. The key to this slat wall is we want to have uniform slats and spaces. So if you set it up and do it like this, you know you're not varying. The laser level is just going to have to be straight to the wall and hit this mark. That'll give us a beam going all the way up and something to line up to. It'll be obvious exactly where we need to be. So as you can see here, the red line from the laser level is hitting right at the 3.5 mark. That's where the first slat is going to go. We're going to put a little bit of this construction adhesive on the back to hold it on the wall. We're also going to load up the nail gun with some brad nails. These are 1 3/16, which will give us just enough to go through the slat and into the drywall and just hold it in place. But the construction adhesive is really what's holding it to the wall. This is just skimming right down the edge, so we know that this is perfectly plumb, I guess, to the wall. Perfectly lined up on our mark at the bottom. So I put the nail holes in the middle and at the bottom. These will all be covered by the headboard. So the only marks we really have are the 2 at the top. We can choose to putty those up, put a little paint on those. Those will just disappear. Let's grab another board. This one's the fun one. Get it lined up on the edge. It's going to cover up the divider between the 2 paint colors. Give us a perfect edge on this wall. So we've got the nightstands and everything. Oh yeah, looking good. I like it. I like it. This is... Hey, actually, can you pull that back a little bit? Sure. Yeah, it's even over here. Actually, it's fine. It looks good. It does. It really does. I like it. We decided we needed some art to finish this off, so we painted a piece of plywood white, and then we ordered a sticker of a cityscape of our beautiful town. We just taped down one side of it, peeled off the backing. Once you get that smooth and perfectly aligned and stuck on this side, you can take this blue painter's tape off and do the same and smooth it down on the other. Pull off the backing, making sure not to take any of the black with you when you've got a nice little black and white silhouette of our town. Then it was off to the miter saw. We did a couple of 45-degree cuts, and we decided to make the top and bottom corners at the same time, just making sure that this would fit perfectly. You can always take a little bit off if you need to, but you can't put any back. And then it was time for a French cleat. 45-degree angle on the track saw. We can cut through and create two little V grooves for the top to hang the picture, and a support piece on the bottom. The square one goes on the bottom, the V goes on the top. With a French cleat, the wedge just kind of hangs on the other one. So one side of the French cleat goes on the wall, one side of the French cleat on the picture, and it's a foolproof way to put it on for the cost of the little piece of wood. My wife obviously is very pleased that I did such a good job of getting that bed made before I showed anything like that on video. Here is the French cleat back going on, so we've got this centered with the laser level and level. The V, of course, is pointing up. The other V is pointing down on the back of this one. Drop it in place. We're good to go. Look at that. How many boards over are we? I got it. Really?
What?
We're getting a little heavy on the clone shots here, aren't we?
Oh, please. It's only two. In one video, we do other things, you know.